And what I find extraordinary, I mean, look, the Queen is 95 and she's entitled to be accompanied by whoever she wants. And she and her late husband were always, perhaps Andrew was their favourite, and it hasn't perhaps been to his benefit that he was spoilt as a young guy. But I think the interesting thing in the Mail is Richard Kay, who's always very good on these things. Page 3 says, fears of Andrew mission creep back to royal life. I mean, he will think, ha-ha, the door is open for me. And, you know, the first thing that Charles will have to do when in due course he takes over is slam that door in Andrew's face.
I mean, do you think he'll be thinking that, looking at the papers, the Daily Mail saying royals dismayed, the Mirror saying that he's calling him the stain, the Express
they're not
saying
what counts,
fall out
Isabel.
over Queen's
In the street, people looked and they say, that's nice. There he was beside his mum. He didn't look out of place unless you read those sort of headlines. So I think there is a big factor of mission creep coming back.
But also, Andrew, he is not a sensitive guy. You know, I was just thinking back over my encounters with Andrew. The first time I ever went, this is before the Falklands, on a ministerial visit to Egypt. Andrew had just been there. And the ambassador said to me, have a drink, I've got to get something off my chest. He then went through the awfulness of having to entertain Andrew, who would push people fully clothed into swimming pools and so on.
Gosh.
And I got on a plane in the Gulf, and I was fortunate enough to be travelling first class. And in my seat, there was this figure covered up. And then this is what's awful about this, two coppers came over and said, oh, Andrew had taken my seat, and would I sit somewhere else? Now, today, I would have screamed blue murder. Then I just said, oh, well, you know.
Yeah.
But I wish I hadn't now, because everyone who experiences Andrew at his awful worst, you know, why should he have the right to sit in someone else's seat?
I tell a story about him in my autobiography, which is too long to tell, but it's very, very funny. But I also sat at a dinner one night at the Football Association, and he sat there literally opposite me all night, never said a single word to me or acknowledged my presence, didn't say hello.
But did he recognise you?
He's bound to have. How could
I mean,
he
you
not
are
have?
very...
How could he not have?
No, but you know what I mean? I mean, you know, because these people float in the air above normal folk, and you are still a normal person, you know?
Yeah, I wish you would say, hello, how are you doing? Are you enjoying the meal, or whatever it happens to be?
Clive, what do you think on this? Do you think people on the street think, oh, that's a lovely mother, you know, being walked into this memorial?
I think a lot of them do.
Or do you think, as a woman, that it makes you a bit cold?
It makes my blood boil, actually. I wouldn't have thought it was the right thing to do. We have a monarch who has an exemplary record of judgment, of wisdom, and I think this is completely a foolhardy decision. And I think that everyone sitting at home, when they saw those pictures, must have thought to themselves, what the hell is going on?
Yeah,
and I think it sometimes masks the fact that Harry and Meghan weren't there, and the whole circus surrounding them in California, and the reasons with regards to protection officers. All Harry had to do was come over, stick close to his brother and his father, and he would have been well protected.
But this is where it's difficult, I think, for the palace to run things in a way that guarantees them the headlines they want. They didn't want Meghan and Harry coming over and stealing all the thunder of the Duke's life in a celebration of it. And what happens? But Andrew steps into the breach.
But it didn't
That's
need
what
to
people
be
are
like
talking
that.
about.
I don't think anyone would have had a problem with him attending the service. It was just the fact that people were speculating, was the Queen going to make it? Was she going to be able to walk? All eyes were on the monarch, the head of state, as she was walking in. And then, of course, there we saw Prince Andrew. It didn't have to be...
So what I found was strange. When they got to the top of the aisle, and we're all worried about where she's going to walk, and I think of my own mother, who's a similar age and whatever.
He left her.
He left her. He left her. Would you not have... You wouldn't want her to fall in her last 7 or 8 steps. So
absolutely
I thought that was a bit strange.